Okay, welcome to the Freelancer Spotlight interview. I'm here with Katrina Julia, a multi-passionate creator, digital marketer, online expert, and adventurer. Hi, Katrina. How are you?
I'm amazing, Joyce, and thank you and FreeUp for this awesome opportunity.
Oh, of course, of course.
So I've been freelancing unofficially
Okay.
since before Instagram or any digital marketing platform talked about side hustling. Because
Mm-hmm.
even when I was in corporate America, as a chief audit executive or as an executive in oil and gas, retail industries, I was still freelancing on the side. I was doing business plans, I was doing consulting, I was doing a ton. And then officially full-time entrepreneur since 2011. So my main skills, I would say in a nutshell, is strategy, number one. Like I mentioned, I have experience in 7+ industries across strategy, finance, operations. So that brings a ton of value to any prospective client, any organization, because of the ability to think in so many different industries.
Mm-hmm.
The second one I would say is finance. I am also a CPA. I've also built financial departments from scratch. I've also taken Fortune 500 company departments, scaled them up, also optimized, worked in audit. So that is, and done quite a bit with financial forecasts
Mm-hmm.
and pro forma across softwares. The third skill I would say is the ability to scale, like the ability to see any area, any department, any function, and simplify it, and
Mm-hmm.
then determine a roadmap to automate and scale it with tools like LivePlan, tools like ClickUp, any accounting softwares, that holistic view. And last but definitely not least is digital marketing. Is the ability to, you mentioned some of this already.
Mm-hmm.
I created an all-in-one lifestyle brand back in 2015, setting up the foundation of blogs and growing them, setting up shows, setting up online courses and freebies, social media, influencer marketing. And I've also done that for a number of clients across different industries, both online and live. The idea and the vision was birthed of an all-in-one lifestyle brand to combine everything in one. And, in 2015, what that looked like is very different than what it looks like today. That's why I joke. My joke is always like, we're now on like version 15.0. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like it was a baby learning to walk and crawl with, in 2015 and 16, I remember like first setting up the blog,
Right.
first hosting my first Costa Rica retreat in 2016 after I broke my foot surfing in California, which is a
Ah.
whole story.
Mm-hmm.
Running 2 retreats in Cuba and then deciding, okay, what is the online platform going to look like? Launching my first online courses in like 2017 and 2018, starting with influencer marketing in 2016 to now fast forward to 2022, researching over 25 platforms,
Mm-hmm.
setting up a study, writing a book, creating courses, creating our own collaboration platform and influencer management platform. So potential clients can immediately see like, oh, she's already done this here. Here I have a physical representation. Same thing with the blog. Now we're at 500 plus, posts. The show is at almost 600 episodes. And,
Ooh.
what I always tell people is, nothing happens overnight.
Right.
It's the daily, consistent, disciplined action in any business, any industry, and especially with digital marketing. Whether
Right.
it's a blog, a show, your freebies, online courses, social media, influencer marketing, the full gamut. It's step-by-step daily action of sharing your voice, sharing the brand, sharing the stories, sharing the value that yes, you may have some quick wins, and I never discount that. And,
Mm-hmm.
One client I served in Honduras, within a week of working with them, they had 3 weeks of their retreats booked out, their rooms booked out at a sustainable community from one suggestion that I made, from one.
Oh, wow.
And so, you know,
That's
he was like,
amazing.
oh my God. He was like, oh my God, like you're really connected, like to the light. And I was like, that's why I kept pushing you, because I had a feeling that, you know, like a divine download, that this was going to do something. Like I didn't know exactly what it was going to do, but literally the next day, after listing their rooms and their community in a certain way on a platform, within like a day to 2 days, he had a restaurant chain reach out for booking the place completely out for 3 weeks.
Wow.
Constantly growing
You
to get
do.
it deep. Number one. But number two, I am absolutely have a vision for, you know, once we hit certain points and as things align, having like an online director, having a retreat director. Yes, we're growing our retreats, having expansion on influencer marketing and creating more roles for like influencer marketing agents, so to speak. So like the same students that go through our programs are the same brands, depending on, you know, what aligns, they may take on account management. Then the other thing along those lines is I'm currently learning different things with real estate. So yes, expanding. I'm
Oh,
currently
nice.
learning things with NFTs and minting NFTs. And as that grows, I will absolutely take that, share it on the podcast, share it on the blog, integrate it into the online courses. And funny enough, one of my clients I just signed last week is in NFTs and Web3 development with a platform, and I'm working with them on marketing. So I literally set an intention of, oh, I'm not going to pay for a course for NFTs. I'm going to learn on different podcasts and different platforms, and I'm going to get paid to learn. And so this came up to do digital marketing. And of course, I was transparent with them that, you know, I'm not that familiar with the industry yet.
Right.
I learned some things on platforms and on podcasts already with Web3, you know, just the enhancement of storage and et cetera. So yes, I'm very conscious of maintaining the skill sets and cultivating and growing them deeper, but then learning as I feel led, you know, new things, but also being very mindful of my time
Right.
and the energy that it takes. And, you know, I'm someone that often will put a lot of pressure on myself, like many, you know, entrepreneurs and freelancers do. And I'm someone that, but at the same time, I'm growing like with grace and self-love always. So I'll recognize and look at my schedule and say, okay, Katrina, like you've put on too much today or the last 2-3 days, move this, and this to like next week or next month. The most important things I've learned since freelancing is number one, communication is so important.
Yes.
Communicating, like if you're a freelancer, communicating upfront what your values are, what you can do, your examples like are huge to getting to that next step of, you know, a meeting, you know, whatever it is, right? To get the assignment, to get the project, to get the gig, depending on how you phrase it. And if you're a client, which I've also been on this side, and you're listing an opportunity, be very specific with what skills you want, what you know, what results you want, what time commitment you want. If you're open to hourly or fixed fee or a deliverable type approach, like on FreeUp, you know, of course, like, you know, you have, but then many clients will list hourly.
Yeah.
But I always proposed either, you know, fixed fee by week and or, you know, and it's either fixed fee and with a deliverable focus. So they see, oh, week 1, it's going to be this. Week 2, it's going to be this, because, you know, and here's the thing, there's no, like, I don't look at it as right or wrong anymore. I look at it as aligned or not aligned. Like recently, within the last month or two, a couple of months ago, I was in Colombia and there was a potential project I had that seemed really, really good on an app with a wellness company and an interim type CFO role. And of course, she saw everything that I had online, you know, saw the skill sets, everything. And through our conversation, it looked like everything was going to go well. But then, and it did go well, like it was nothing quote unquote negative, but I picked up on some of the things that she was saying about always having access to me. And I asked the account manager, I said, I get the sense that she really wants to have access to me all the time. And if she sends, an email at 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night, that she's, pretty confident she's going to get a response within like, a few hours or less, or within 12 hours or less. And, and I said, I could be wrong. And in communication, those things need to be developed. I said, I could be wrong, but I think we need to revisit this with her. And
Right.
sure enough, like she had her expectation or her idea of what, working together would look like. And I told her, I said, of course I respond readily, but typically it can be within a day, within 2 days, within 3 days, because I don't look at any of the things I'm doing as an emergency. And, I'm not operating on anyone. I'm not saving anyone's life. I'm not doing brain surgery. So, I said, if that's the way you view what you're doing, that's fine. But I'm not your best resource. I'm not your best freelancer. I want to work with people that have a very well sense of balance,
Right.
in their life. So number one, I would say communication. And number two, setting expectations, which is
Right.
basically what I just dove into, is the expectation of how you work. What's the responsiveness? What's the availability? What type of agreements do you want? Like if the client or someone wants hourly, great. But that's not how I work. I haven't worked hourly for like 15 plus years.
Ooh.
It's it's deliverable focused, it's fixed fee focused, it's retainer focused, or it's online streams. And that's the way I work with people as well when I'm, contracting out. So number one, communication. Number two, expectation. Oh, and actually they're not in any specific order. They're all equally important. Number three is alignment. So are you working with like-minded people? Is it in industries you're passionate about? Like one thing I learned, I shared, I worked in 7+ industries. I worked in corporate all over. When I did what so many of us were trained to do of, go to school, get a degree, get straight A's, get a job, climb the corporate ladder, make 6 figures, you've made it. Well, I made it, in 2010, 2011. But I realized, Joyce, and anyone listening, there was so many things missing. I recognized where I had misaligned. I recognized where I had let go of the intention and the alignment. And that many clients or industries that I worked with, like I didn't enjoy it at all.
Ooh.
And I think that so many times people get so stuck in, I need to make money. I need to make money. I need to make money.
Right.
And the black cycle that they take anything. And what I've learned, both on a spiritual and mental and practical side, also as a CPA, is not all money is good money. When things are in calm, when things are in flow, when things are in alignment, like we only like, of course, fight for things, fight for injustices, etc. But when you're in chaos and complexity and confusion, and no matter how, you try to communicate with a potential client or anything, like it doesn't feel good. It's not set up for success. Like even this week, I had a situation where the client and I talked last week, everything was flowing along great. And then I realized, and I owned it. I said, wait a minute, I forgot to mention to you, because we were like having such a great conversation. I forgot to mention to you that I don't work hourly, that normally I work, fixed fee and deliverable. And years ago, either I would have resented the client or been mad at myself or like had this weird feeling. And I was like, no, I can still be grateful, bring this up. And, I offered to the client, I said, if this is really important to you, I fully understand that and I honor you. I said, but I already tried the platform time tracker. I did this. And I said, and I already had some IT confusion, which reminded me that I haven't worked hourly for 15+ years. And this isn't an alignment for me. But you still have the roadmap. I still created the roadmap for you. If you want to go out and find a different talent person, I fully appreciate and support that. I can talk to your marketing lead, and help them. But if you want to continue with me and all the evidence and examples I showed you, I'm happy to do that. But I want to revisit and propose a new contract for deliverables.
And then what happened?
And so what's funny is at first, when I brought it up in an example, you could tell he was still pushing back. But when I intentionally like phrased the email and said like all this gratitude, then gave some examples and again, owned my piece and then closed it out with 3 options of, hey, you can take the roadmap, get another freelancer. You can do this or this, use my online course, and or we can revisit this in the future. Like, I'm not closing the door forever, but I'm saying no. And I was fully prepared to walk away, obviously. If I'm encouraging you to get a different freelancer, like I'm not attached to it, right? And years ago, I would have, out of fear. And so I was really proud of myself. And I was like, okay, I'm just releasing it all. Whatever he says, it's fine. And he replied back, he was so funny. Like, he completely changed his energy from the first inquiry to the second, because I think there's power in silence, and there's power in being nice and professional and being willing to walk away if it doesn't fit for you. And that's on both sides, as a freelancer and as a client. But being nice about it. Like, nobody wants to, be attacked, so to speak. And so he replied back like the same day, and he was like, go ahead, and propose a new contract. Yes, I've normally always worked, hourly, but I can see your points are very valid and it makes total sense. And so I proposed it to him on Monday, and he could see, the roadmap I proposed for the project completely aligns to the deliverables. And of course, I was honoring what his weekly budget is. Like, it wasn't like I went over anything. I said, you can clearly see the weekly deliverables. You can clearly see, based on this trajectory, what's going to happen September, October, November, December. And if you want to at some point speed it up or slow it down, of course we can adjust it. Like, this isn't like, we're not setting it in stone, but this is the roadmap and intention and speed that we're both agreeing to now. So a couple of things. One, I love that you send the matches. Because then that triggers us to not have to go in and remind ourselves, or because my virtual assistant also sources through the opportunities as well. So whether it's me, whether it's her time, it's in the email. I'm able to see it at a glance. I love that. I love on the platform itself that either me and or her, we can source it by, is it midterm? Is it long-term? Like, I prefer, again, if you're going to exert the energy, this goes to time efficiency. If you're exerting the energy to pitch on a project, to me, why perpetuate feast or famine? Go for the midterm and long-term projects. Now, of course, the short-term can turn to long-term, but the client's already ready, midterm or long-term, they're ready to keep working with you. So time efficiency. Then even on the hourly projects, I love that you can source and scale. You can source and filter, whatever hourly rate you want. And then even if it's hourly, what I immediately do, and I teach my VA to do the same, is, okay, if it's XYZ hourly potential, or, the client has 65, 75 plus, like, knowing that I take less time to do something, how can I then propose to them right away a fixed fee for the week, for the month? Like, that's number 3. I love that FreeUp is very upfront in the approaches of hourly, fixed fee per week, fixed fee per month, and then how we submit that process. Like, I had a project with FreeUp on project management that was setting up on a flooring and design company to help her scale different things, like scale her documents, scale her intake process, so that she could serve more clients easier, and get the information up front easier. So I love that. I love that you have a huge variety of clients. I just pitched one, I want to say a couple of days ago. So it's probably in my inbox with the team. Oh, the responsiveness. So when we pitch, like the mini pitch to the team, it says, this is why I'm great, here's my results, check out my FreeUp profile. You're the team, and there's a Katrina on the team too. So,
yes, there is. There's 2
nice.
actually.
Yeah, which is super unusual. Like, I don't usually run into Katrinas at all. So whether it's Katrina or, anybody on the team is super supportive, super responsive, super advocates of freelancers. And then, and I love right away when I get the approvals, what I usually do is just copy and paste the same thing that I sent to the FreeUp team to the client. And then I add in there on both of them, if it's a hourly, I say, if we discuss, so I set the expectation and the communication right away. So
Mm-hmm.
I say, I would love to discuss on this if we align. I would love to, discuss a fixed fee, for the week, for the month. And I'm, confident that you'll love the value. And then it's easy and it's in the client's hands. Like I, propose meeting times and then it's done. Like I think the process is super efficient.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for sharing those. Now, for my last question, we only have a couple of minutes. Sorry. What advice do you have for other freelancers on the FreeUp platform and in general?
So in general, for freelancers, I want to remind you to really dig into what skill sets you have. So many freelancers, entrepreneurs literally forget the skills they have. Like they're so focused on one thing that they're not open always to expanding and offering different gifts, talents, and abilities. Like, yes, focus, but sometimes the roadmap or the path leads us into ways we never imagined, right?
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes those skills are being dormant. So that's number one, identifying the skills. Number two is showcasing those skills, whether it's on your profile on FreeUp, just like you see examples on mine, and listing out, because for example, my intent when I list that out is I want to work with incredible mission-based brands and women entrepreneurs that immediately can see, like I see when I look at profiles similar to mine of, people that have inspired me, that, oh my God, this person can help me with strategy. This person can help me with online. Oh, they travel. If I want to take my team on a global retreat, they can help me. So they immediately see the expansion of value. And so with that, when you're a freelancer, listing out those skill sets and those results on your profile, supplementing that on platforms like your website and your biography and your media kit. The other
Mm-hmm.
thing is, I see so many freelancers fail to do this. They don't ask for recommendations in general on the platform and off the platform. So, for example, LinkedIn. Like,
Mm-hmm.
even though I have recommendations on platforms, whether it's FreeUp or others, I always, always, always ask for recommendations for the website. And I like screenshot anything that anyone does on a real life, online, anything. And I ask for them to list it on LinkedIn. And I mutually do it.
Oh,
Mutually, because LinkedIn is usually, especially for FreeUp and other platforms, that is oftentimes the first place someone will go to see what does your LinkedIn profile look like, what's listed, and or your website. And
right.
LinkedIn has the recommendations for you. It has the features for you. So why not maximize it? And I've had so many people reach out to me via LinkedIn because of that.
Wow. That's nice. I'll keep that in mind.
Yes, especially if you
Awesome.
call, like, and you talk to, send me yours. I'm happy to do yours. Like, send me yours.
Oh,
I'll usually do it. Yes. So you can easily see, like, connected together, collaborated, it's
right.
different options. And then you just list out, like, how you connected, what it was. And then again, it helps, potential clients. It helps with credibility. It helps with SEO, everything.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Awesome. Well, I appreciate your time today, Katrina. Thank you very much for sharing your wonderful stories, your thoughts with us. It was really a pleasure meeting you. All right. So, again, thank you very much, Katrina. You have a great day.
Likewise, thank you so much, Joyce, and
Thank
big
you.
hugs. And thank you so much to the FreeUp team for this.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.